Green Bay Packers won a giant game on Week 11, and now they get to host the San Francisco 49ers, who are coming off a tough division loss against the Seattle Seahawks. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this huge Week 12 matchup between the San Francisco 49ers and Green Bay Packers. But before I get into that, Ryan and I, we have a goal of getting to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the calendar year. Can't believe that that's even possible, so thank you to everybody that subscribed. So if you haven't already, let's see if we can get to that goal. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win this game and why. And so, Ryan, let's get into it here. Massive game from Green Bay, going on the road to Chicago. Obviously, massive division rivalry. And got saved by Big Paul from the field goal block unit there and to keep it 2019 victory. San Francisco 49ers, they lost to the Seattle Seahawks for the first time in, I think, like 3 or 4 years. It's been a long time since they lost.
It's been a while.
At San Francisco. They were definitely missing George Kittle, and Nick Bosa got hurt in the game also. So that's going to be two major players to watch kind of going into this week. But Ryan, halfway through the season here, major playoff implications on this game. What are some of the initial thoughts and X factors for each team to come out victorious?
Yeah, I mean, starting off with the San Francisco 49ers, I mean, they've just been so banged up with injuries along the offensive line and the wide receiver room. Now defensively also that with losing Nick Bosa. So it's just been tough for them to catch a break. But this is still a well-coached football team. This offense, while has struggled, Kyle Shanahan is still one of the best offensive minds in the league. And so I still think at any given day it will click for them. And we'll just kind of have to wait and see when that is. Though I will say I've been very impressed with Brock Purdy so far this year. I know statistically he hasn't had his best year, but with that being said, this is the first time where I have felt this offense has been solely put on him. And not that this offense has been like great with him in there, but like without all these weapons, but he's actually making some plays, like two guys that are like he's creating plays where before I felt like it's been a lot of like, all right, well, I'll just dish it out to Debo for 5 yards, then he'll run for another 10 or 15. He's actually throwing the ball into tighter windows and making some plays. And so I feel like there is progress like in that department. And I understand he's been one of the better quarterbacks in the league over the last couple of years, but just to see the development in him in his, I believe, 3rd or 4th year now, it is nice to see. And I think when this offense is healthy again, it'll continue to grow and they'll be a lot better. Green Bay, one thing I feel like people forget about Green Bay is that they're still one of the youngest offenses in the league. Like I think you look, Jaden Reed's in his 2nd year, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson are in their 3rd year. I believe both tight ends, Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, are in their 2nd year. So like this offensive line is maybe a little bit more experienced. Josh Jacobs is on his 2nd contract in the NFL, but this is still a really young football team. And so I think that they have some of those moments where you can see the youth come out, but they are still just so talented. I feel like defensively too, they're pretty good as well. And they are a little bit more veteran on the defensive side of the ball. But this is a good football team in Green Bay that's well coached. I think they do a really good job on both sides of the ball, and they're not an easy out on any week. So, and also some injuries have kind of derailed them a little bit, like specifically Jordan Love. I feel like I think Malik Willis is actually undefeated when he starts, but with them, but still, it's hard to get in a routine when your starting quarterback has missed, I believe 2 or 3 games now. So it'll be fun to kind of see like these teams. They're approaching the straightaway into the playoffs, and this is a big one for either wild card tiebreaker implications or hopefully propel one team to stay relevant in their division, i.e. the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, that's one of the things too with Green Bay. They just put Jordan Morgan on IR as well. So just another kind of thing you're talking about with the injury aspect also. But that's kind of one of the things with Matt LaFleur and this offense, an offense system that he has is it's allowed for this next man up mentality.
Yeah.
Just kind of looking at it today, he's like Watson had 4 catches for 150 yards, and now that was like the huge breakaway one with an amazing catch. What an amazing diving catch! But then Josh Jacobs had 4 catches for 58 yards. They only threw the ball 17 times today, but typically is much very well spread out, and just like how it was today, just some guys didn't get catches. But like Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks, Tucker Kraft as well, Luke Musgrave also too. Even though I know he has been playing, he's been dealing with injuries, I believe. But Tucker Kraft has risen up to be that next guy, and there's other guys as well too who normally get some targets, but they only threw the ball 17 times today. But still a solid win though. To your point with Brock Purdy, I agree with you, and it's coming up here close into a contract year. If it's not actually already a contract year, because it was 2021 when 2022 was when he got drafted. Because that's when Trey Lance came in, and because he came in the year prior, but he took over the team but broke his ankle, and then Garoppolo got hurt, and then you had the Mr. Irrelevant rookie come in.
His final season is next year. He's actually only being paid $1 million.
That's so wild. That's so wild.
Next
but
year.
I agree with your point though too, because CMC has just come back. George, they haven't had a single game this season where it has been Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle all on the field at the same time. And it's not going to happen this year without Ayuk coming out. But you've had Brock Purdy. You feel like he has been making that step. Nothing like against his prior performance, but he is making that next step. Juwan Jennings is making a huge step as well. Ricky Pearsall, I think, has been performing well. Also, even though he had no catches today, he only had 2 targets, but he has been improving overall. But Juwan Jennings, 10 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown as well. So it's just very interesting here. Injuries play a huge part of it, and I feel like when fully healthy, this San Francisco 49ers team is one of the best teams in the league, but injuries are a part of the game. And so you're not going to have Ayuk for the rest of the season. Going to have to see how Nick Bosa's injury, he hurt his hip, how that's going to impact them moving forward as well. George Kittle as well with him being out. And I think that was the difference today was George Kittle being out. For sure. Just because he was that guy that they just can rely on to take up the middle of the field, just another option. And so kind of moving over to this game, it's going to be interesting just to see how what the starting lineup is. So I will say, like, in our season-long competition, my pick might change, but it's going to depend on how banged up that 49ers defense is, because if they don't have Nick Bosa, that definitely saw as well in that second half of the Seahawks game is Geno Smith seemed more relaxed and there wasn't as much pressure, and it's because I think Nick Bosa wasn't on the field as well. And so if he doesn't end up playing, I think it's going to be something similar when you have a solid offensive line in Green Bay. It's going to allow Jordan Love time to pick apart, I think, this 49ers secondary, which is good, yes, but still not – it's any defense. If you can't get pressure, doesn't matter how good the secondary is. Shoot, I'm a Falcons fan, so if you're following Falcons, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm a Patriots fan, so we have one of the worst pass rushes in the league.
Yeah, but your defense in general is just bad, though. I at least have a good secondary.
Our secondary's not. Our secondary's not bad.
Yeah. So, but that's one of the things too. When still looking at this San Francisco 49ers defense, let me make sure I got the right one here. Actually, I typed that in wrong though. So they're still a top 10 defense in almost all categories, and so that's what I think. If Nick Bosa doesn't play, I do think that it's going to be a tough. I think it's going to be a tough outing for the Niners defense going up against the Green Bay offense here as well. It's still possible, but then you combine that with Ayuk being out, especially then too if Kittle doesn't play. I think it's just going to be a lot for this Niners team to overcome going up against a Green Bay team that has a good defense, that has a young and explosive offense that's I think tough for most defenses to manage. So I'm going to go with the home team here. I'm going to go with Green Bay in this matchup.
I'm going to go with Green Bay too. I still feel like the 49ers are trying to figure out their identity this season. And while I think getting Christian McCaffrey back has kind of reinstated that they want to be a run-first team, this offensive line struggled against Seattle a little bit, and they haven't quite gotten that downhill running style back yet with Christian McCaffrey. And I say downhill, I know they run like the outside zone, West Coast stuff, but like you get what I'm saying, like that power run game where it's just they're chipping away 4 or 5 yards, and then like all of a sudden they bust the long one. And so like for me, I feel like Green Bay right now is just playing better football. and they're finally finding that rhythm. I think with Jordan Love and this offense, they do a really good job of spreading it around to their weapons, all of their weapons, as you said earlier in the video. And I just think that Green Bay is going to get it done here. So I'm going to go with Green Bay taking the home team as well.
Yeah, and also it is a really big game for San Francisco here. Just to wrap up, just as we're getting to that point in the season, last game in the middle third of the season, then you go into the final 6 games for everybody, or 5 games. I think no, they're 6 games left. Sorry, I'm thinking of 18 weeks. But so after this game, so it's at Green Bay, week 13 at Buffalo. Then they host Chicago. Then they host the Rams. Then at Miami, host Detroit, then at Arizona. All those teams are still within the playoff hunt. Even Miami, of all things, Miami is still wildly somehow still in the playoff hunt. They're only a game and a half back from being in the AFC wild card. So still big games, and that's going to be on the road as well. This is going to be huge, just when it comes to overall tiebreakers, because even as of right now, Niners are 10th in the NFC. They're a game and a half back from the 7-4 Washington Commanders. So they go to 5-6, and then depending on what Washington does, and Washington is playing Dallas. You should go check out our preview for the Dallas versus Washington Commanders game. But I can promise you right now, I'm not picking Dallas in that game. So this is a huge game for San Francisco. They want to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the San Francisco 49ers? Will it be the Green Bay Packers? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.